What's going on, everybody? Mr. Ladd here, and I just wanted to give a quick little tip as to how you can upsell your customers or add more value in this coming year. Guys, 2019 is in the last couple days, and in just a very few days, we're about to enter into the cuspice of a brand new year as well as a brand new decade. And so it's time that we start thinking outside the box, start thinking about things that we've never done before. And I came across something that actually brought some good value to a client that I was servicing yesterday, and I wanted to talk about it. So where I live in Fort Lauderdale Beach, there's a lot of construction going on by my house. And so literally in the past month, I've had 2 flat tires from roofing nails. It aggravated the tar out of me. The first time I replaced the tires, I had 3 nails in less than an inch radius. That's insane. You can't really patch that. So I had to replace that tire. And then just 2 weeks later, I had another nail. But all I did was plug it. It was able to be plugged, thankfully. And so, it got me thinking, well, I need to make sure that I'm ready for these situations. And so I went to my local Walmart and I was looking around for things I could do to make sure that I don't have that scenario again, or if I do enter that scenario again, I'm covered and I don't have to drop a ton of money on towing or new tires or have to go through the whole process of putting on a spare and all that. Here's what I did. I went to Walmart and I picked up one of these bad boys. For $20, you get yourself an air compressor. Now, look, that's pretty common sense. Have an air compressor on hand. It's good to have on hand. It's good safety. It's like having road flares. It's just as important. But so I bought it and I had it. But yesterday I was servicing a client, and my client had a pretty low tire. Forgive me if there's any wind or whatever. Hopefully it doesn't add too much issues to the video quality. But my client had a pretty flat tire. It wasn't fully flat. It was like one of those flats where it starts to go flat, and little by little it gets lower and lower and lower, and before you realize it, 10 days go by and you got like 10 psi in your tire. And so my client has a Toyota Camry, and I was working on his car and I saw that he had a low tire, and I'm like, you know what, let me just go ahead, take this thing out and see what it can do. So I took it out and I went ahead and pumped up his tire, and I was at his workplace, and I guess he saw me doing that. I didn't advertise it that I'm gonna go ahead and pump your tire, and so that's an extra however many dollars. I just did it because I could just plug it in and continue to move around the car. And so I went ahead and I pumped his tire. He literally had 8 psi in his tire. Now that's horrible. His tire holds up to 35. It's a standard vehicle. Oh, this thing keeps on falling out. I'm trying these new AirPods, not AirPods, not by Apple, it's just one of those other imported companies. So I'm just kind of getting used to all that. But so I did that, and he saw me doing it, and I guess he was thankful for that because he gave me a pretty generous tip on top of what he normally gives me, which ended up paying for most of this thing, which is only 20 bucks. So it wasn't like a $100 tip here. But guys, that was extra money that he wasn't going to give me on top of what he was already going to give me. And so I was very thankful for that. And so this little thing, I want to talk about it real quick. It's the Hyper Tough Digital Tire Inflator. It actually is a really, really unique tool. It's very simple. $20 at your local Walmart, hopefully at least. That's how much it cost when I bought it 2 weeks ago. And it's very simple to use. Just got to take it right out of the box. There's instructions in it. I don't have the instructions on me. I already took them out and probably lost them. I'm just that kind of guy, I guess. Let me put the box down here. And it's a very simple and small mechanism. So you got the power button, you have the M button, which stands for whether you want it to read in PSI or some other interval. It'll read different types of intervals. And then you have the plus and minus, and what you do is you have a preset PSI, or whatever interval you're working in, a preset level that you can work with. And simply, you just take out the cord. This screws on it screws on. You don't have to hold it on. It actually screws on to the valve, and you're able to just go ahead and put it on, screw it, and just let go and let it be. Of course, you have the AC adapter. This works via AC, so the power adapter inside of a vehicle. So you can use the client's power, and if the client doesn't have power, just make sure you have power in your vehicle, because, if you break down the side of the road and you don't have power, you're kind of scarred. So, but So that works also. It has for a tire inflator, and if you want to blow up like a ball or a floaty, or not tire, I'm sorry, that's for the ball. This is for like a little floaty if you have like a air mattress or something like that, or even just like a blow up pool for the backyard for the kids or the family or whatever. It works for that. And another cool thing is if you break down at night, if you get a flat in the middle of the night or it's really early in the morning, you got to get to work, got a little light on this thing. So once it's plugged in, you can go ahead and press the light button, and this light comes on. It's a fairly decent light. It's nothing crazy, but you know, it sure is better than having nothing. You don't have to waste battery power. It'll get the job done. But overall, it went from 8 psi to 35 psi, and I think it took 3 minutes, and then it automatically shut off. Now this goes up to 100 psi, so if you have like these humongous tires, I don't know if they go higher than 100 psi, but if they do, you might want to search for a different option. But if they don't, you know, and all the tires that you pretty much see are under 100 psi, this can go from 0 to 100 psi in 7 minutes. Now that is kind of a long time, but think about it. You go ahead and plug that in. It's preset, shuts off by itself. You still go around the vehicle. You're still wiping down. You know, you're still wiping the interior cleanings, vac, whatever you decide to do. You know, it kind of does all the work for itself. So yeah, I just want to talk about that real quick. It works very well. You know, think about it. If I get 4 or 5 uses out of it, you know, hopefully I'm not having these situations all the time. That's kind of like last case scenario. That's kind of like, you know, rainy day stuff here. Rainy day, this thing works, and if it works 7-8 times, and if it's on a couple clients and they all tip me for it, it pays itself over, and then I just go back and get another one, or I can just get a higher quality one. But so far I haven't seen a need for another one. This thing works very well, and do I recommend it? Hey, it gets the job done. You just need to have something in your vehicle no matter what, because that's just kind of safety. Always recommend having plugs on hand. Have a inflator, compressor inflator on hand. Have road flares in case you do break down at the side of a highway, so it's for safety. These are for safety. This is a safety mechanism. It's to help increase your level of safety or insurance wherever you go. Especially for me, I do a lot of road trips, so I'm always in the car. I'm always going somewhere, whether it's Orlando, Ocala, something like that, 4 or 5 hours away from my house. I have to have something like this on hand. So guys, it's very easy to store, very easy to use, and I happen to really like it. I just kind of want to talk about it a little bit, just kind of explain that. Look, I've already almost paid for this thing from a client, and I think it's good to have on hand. And that's another way you can go ahead and upsell or add more value to your clients in this new coming year, guys. 2019 is gone. 2020 is here. Don't just think about a new year, though. Think about a new decade. How are we going to set ourselves apart from everyone else in the market this coming decade? I'm going a whole rant about that, but whatever. That's for a different video for a different time. We'll do that in the new year coming up. But guys, thank you so much here. Mr. Ladd here signing out. Just want to talk about the Hyper Tough tire inflator, whatever. 20 bucks, Walmart, gets the job done, adds value to yourself and your clients. There you go. If you like these videos, please feel free to subscribe to the channel, guys. Mr. Ladd here signing out. Thank you so much. Have a happy new year.